We're really excited today to welcome Professor Jan MacArthur from Lancaster University, who's going to be giving us a keynote later on. But the first half of our event today is going to be launching our new report from the Trinity Centre for People with Intellectual Disabilities, based in the School of Education, in collaboration with the School of English here in Trinity College Dublin. And that's the co-learning report called The Only Thing to Do. And I think that title is a powerful one, that hopefully you'll see why we decided on that title as the event goes on today. One of the central pillars of this co-learning project was student voice. So you'll see we're opening up today with our student panel. So we have two students from the Trinity Centre for People with Intellectual Disabilities who are studying a Level 5 certificate in Art, Science and Inclusive Applied Practice. And we have two students from the School of English, from English Studies, studying towards a bachelor's degree. And in this project, in the co-learning project, we set up a process where students with intellectual disabilities on a Level 5 were studying side by side with their peers in the undergraduate degree program. So the module that they took was the Irish writing module, and they were learning about James Joyce and Ivan Boland and Seamus Heaney, to name but a few. So really, really important Irish authors and seminal texts from some of these authors as well. And I think, historically speaking, for students with intellectual disabilities, one, it was often assumed wrongly that higher education and maybe education wasn't a place for them. And I think over the past 20 years in Trinity College, we've been running different variations of programs for people with intellectual disabilities. We've already proved that one wrong. And we've so many students and graduates over the years that go out into the world and make a difference and show people what they're made of. And we're so proud of all of those graduates. Today, we have a snapshot of two of our students. Niamh is going to introduce herself shortly, and Al, and then we have Rob from the School of English and Elizabeth from the School of English as well. These students are going to say it much better than I will. But after the student panel, then we'll go into our staff panel, and I'm going to grill some of my colleagues on what it was like for the co-learning experience from their end, because it is a two-way process. Co-learning is co-learning between students with intellectual disabilities and undergraduate students from the School of English. But it's really proved that it's a process between the educators and between the students as well. And you'll see from reading the report and from the panel sessions today that collaboration, flexibility, and I suppose trust is something that's central to the entire project and the research that we did on the project. So I'm gonna pause there. You will be hearing my voice because I'm gonna moderate the questions, but I really want to hand it over to you guys. And I want you to, firstly, if you don't mind, introduce yourself and maybe what year you're in and the area that you study in. So I'll start with Niamh, if you want to press the button there. Yeah, perfect.
My name is Niamh Gorey. I'm in second year and I'm doing Arts and Science Inclusive Applied Practice.
Thank you, Niamh.
I'm also doing Arts and Science Applied Practice. I'm also a graduate of the course. I'm currently working here in Trinity for 5 months, so it's really good. So thank you.
Thanks, Al.
My name is Rob Kinnear. I'm a third-year student and I study English with Sociology.
My name is Elizabeth Hemingway. I'm a second year in Single Honors English.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to go straight into the question. So my first question is for Niamh. What was it like learning together with the English studies students?
I was a bit nervous in the tutorials with the other students. I felt confident with my friends from TCPID in the prison messages, and I got to know Paul and Maeve. Then I felt more confident around the other students. I feel great and confident.
Thanks, Niamh. And so you got to know Paul and Niamh. So Paul's one of the academics from the School of English, and Maeve came in as a co-learning champion, and you had your bridging lectures and your tutorials at the start with Maeve, but then you went off to your tutorials on your own, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and the lectures as well. Okay, so just for context, if anyone's wondering who's Paul and who Maeve is, they'll be on the panel next. You'll get to hear from them as well. My next question, Al, is for you. So can you share a moment when someone else's idea helped you understand something in a new way?
What stuck to me about doing the course was getting feedback from students and the lecturers and putting that into my own work outside of the course. What that helped me understand was doesn't really matter to be afraid to ask questions and to get feedback from others.
Very good. And were you able to ask your peers or your lecturers for feedback straight away, or was that a process?
That was straight away. I felt confident in myself to ask those questions, and getting that feedback from the students of the course and from Paul and Maeve, it was fantastic.
Thanks, Al. Elizabeth, I'm going to ask you, how did learning with the TCPID students influence your approach towards the module, or did it change it in any way for you?
It didn't really change it that much, but I mean, if it did, it was just a better experience, I think, to learn from more people with different opinions than your own, which is often just how tutorials work anyway. So it seemed pretty much the same.
Was there anything about it that maybe wasn't happening in other tutorials that maybe you would have liked?
If anything, I felt like it was just more of a friendly group. A lot of the time I feel like tutorials can be strict, but because it was like there was an understanding that there was like different people in the group, we all got to know each other more, which I thought helped me like actually get in touch with the course at hand.
Great, thank you so much. I'm going to come back to Niamh for the next question. Is that okay, Niamh? So did you feel your ideas were listened to during the classes, and can you share any examples of what that was like for you?
Sometimes I am shy to new people that I do not know. So that was a big challenge for me. I saw other students being very confident. Sometimes it is hard to speak up in tutorials when other students were speaking a lot. But this got better as the week went on. Towards the end, I was able to speak up more. A many person called Niamh too. She was really nice to talk to. It made it easier when you got to know some of the other students.
That's really interesting. So at the start, you found it difficult to speak up in the tutorials, Niamh?
Yes.
Yeah. And I find it really interesting that you say you thought the other students seemed very confident. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, did the other students feel very confident when you guys were in there? No, they're shaking their head, Niamh. So I'd say you guys probably seemed confident to them as well, but you said you noticed in yourself that you became more confident to speak up in the classes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. Thanks, Niamh. Rob, I have a question for you, if that's okay. So what did you notice about the group, about how the group made space for different voices? Was it subtle or was it very explicit?
Well, at least for me, it felt very subtle. I suppose like we were a very big group because it was, I think, sort of 20 odd people before the TCPID students joined. And so obviously it's a big enough group. So we were splitting up, I think, every week into sort of 5s and 6s, which was definitely a little nervy at the start. I didn't feel very confident myself. But then as the weeks went on, and as kind of everyone got to know each other better, I think everybody started feeling far more confident in what they were saying. And at least to my memory, I feel like every group that I was sat in every week, it would be completely different people and everybody would still at least say something. So I feel like everyone's voice was definitely heard, at least to some extent.
Yeah. And
despite my lack of confidence.
Were they different groups every week so everyone got to know each other?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, kind of as it is with tutorials, you'll kind of find the people you click with the best and you'll tend to sit with them, but we'd still be split up every week. and every group would have I think at least one, if not two, TCPID students in it. So then everyone would get to know everyone, kind of the whole group would sort of mesh together much better than I suppose like a typical tutorial would. And I think as a result, everyone got to know each other much better, and the sort of confidence built up over time.
That's really interesting, really interesting. Did you notice that maybe the students like Niamh or Al that were in the class, that they were nervous? Was that something that you noticed?
I can't say I noticed it. I sort of assumed that obviously being put into a group like that in a pilot project in its first year would be a bit nervous. But at the same time, it's easy to say in hindsight, but in first year, I think everyone's very nervous. Like no one's very confident in what they have to say. And a lot of tutorials feel like Elizabeth was saying, very sort of strict and very formal. But in this one, it felt very sort of personal and very friendly. So once we sort of got that out of the way and got to talk to everyone a little bit, I think, again, the confidence rose and people were happy to talk much more.
Amazing. Thanks, Rob. Thanks very much. I'm going to go back to you, Al, for the next question. So what did being part of the co-learning module show you about being part of Trinity?
Just having a voice, really, and then being able to push myself out of my own course and building those connections through Trinity, where I'm not just talking to the same people, I'm talking to people spread out of Trinity, and I think that's amazing that this course is down, and I hope in the future that there's going to be more courses similar to this in anything, really.
Very good. Thanks, Al. The next question is for Elizabeth. So did the inclusive approach affect how you connected with the material or your group work?
I think the way that the tutorial was held, like as a more friendly space, definitely did, but I don't think the fact that it was TCPID with TCD did that. I think it was just the fact that we were all really friendly, and like as Rob said, everybody's confidence started to build up as we got to know each other. So that just made it a lot better and easier experience, I'd say.
So is it more the culture of the group dynamic together that made it successful or welcoming, or was it something that the tutors did or the lecturers did?
I think that it was, I mean, initially the tutor, Paul Delaney, did like make it very easy for us all to talk to each other and feel comfortable in that space. And once we all did feel comfortable, we could just talk to each other without his help. And we all got to know each other, and it did just feel like a really like warming, comfortable space.
I think any of the educators in the room are kind of going, that's what education is about, and that's what it should be about. All the theory today, we're looking at the inclusive university in theory and practice, and all the theory around inclusive and special education, going back further and further, would suggest all of that. So it's really, really positive and reassuring to hear that from you guys. Thank you for sharing that. Rob, another question for you, if that's okay. How would you describe the atmosphere or the sense of community that came from the inclusive setup in the module?
I think sort of the word that comes to mind immediately is it was very welcoming sort of space. Like obviously everyone was very nervous at the start, which I think is kind of the case for all tutorials because you don't really know everyone in the group anyways. But then after being told that it was the merging with TCPID and hearing kind of about the project and then having the actual tutorials happen meant that the sort of community sort of feeling grew week by week. And then I think also the way it was taught as well was very important, where I'm not just saying it because Paul is over there, but I think the sort of way that it was taught, where we break up into the groups and then Paul would come over and talk to the groups individually, hear our ideas, and then in front of the whole class sort of go to, oh, like this person had this idea, do you want to clarify that a bit more? It made it like significantly easier to build up that confidence to actually form your own opinions. When I mean, in first year, it's very nervous, like it's very nervy, kind of entering academia, having your own opinions like that. And I think as a result of that, the sort of togetherness feeling grew quite quickly.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. we're going to move towards our closing questions for the student panel today. So I'm going to open this one up and ask all of you the same question. So in one word or short phrase, what will you remember most from this experience? So we'll go to Niamh first.
The Dominoes was my favorite story that I read. My granddad likes the Dominoes as well. It reminded me of him a lot. I told him I was studying Dominoes in college, and he found it really interesting, and he was impressed.
Excellent, Niamh. So he's a big James Joyce fan, is he?
Yes,
Very good. Very good. You were able to share that with him.
yeah.
That's really, really nice. Thank you for sharing that, Niamh. Same question to you, Al. So in a short phrase or a word, what will be your favorite memory from the experience?
Just being involved with Niamh and Paul was a fantastic experience. I'm not just saying that because they're there, but it was just a fantastic experience to get out of my own course and be able to talk to others throughout college and get that college experience. And I just think anybody who does this course in the future is lucky.
And you think co-learning should be a part of that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it should be a part of any college throughout Dublin or any college in total. So,
And there's one thing, I'm going a little bit off the script now, Al, but you won't mind. There's one thing you said in the video, the YouTube video that we did for co-learning about the bridging lectures and being able to find your voice. Would you be able to tell us a bit more about that? So you had these independent bridging lectures, which was you and your classmates from TCPID with the co-learning champion, that's Maeve, and Paul was there as well. And how did that give you a voice? Because I know you said that in the video.
So that actually gave me a voice because, as I mentioned, getting that experience of going out of my comfort zone and talking to other people, I'm not normally used to that. And just that experience made me feel more comfortable in putting myself forward for things. It could be S2S work. It could be being a mentor for my first years last year. Niamh was actually my first year mentee. So just getting that experience is incredible.
Yeah, and being able to kind of open up to other students and engage with them. And that's a big part of your internship now at the moment with the Student Counselling Service, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm now so used to put myself in that situation of talking to students. It's just a natural thing that I do every morning. I'd be like, there's coffee, tea there if you want to make yourself comfortable, and then I go back to work. So it's really handy for me to have.
Excellent. Thanks, Al. Thanks. And the same question to you, Rob. So in a one word or a short phrase, what will you remember most about the co-learning experience?
I was trying to think of one earlier and it was quite hard. And I think the only one that I sort of thought would really work was, I thought eye-opening might be the right word, just in the sense that like, I feel like we weren't even together for that long. It was only a handful of weeks doing the tutorials, but I feel like I learned so much in that time between, about the project and then obviously about the course material, so much about kind of learning as well, just comparing that tutorial to the other tutorials I'd done, because I think this tutorial group was probably the best tutorial I've ever been in. Again, not saying that because Paul is over there, but learning so much about like how like that sort of sense of community can be built in the tutorial group, and then also making great connections, making good friends in the group. So yeah, just it taught me a lot. So I thought that was the most fitting word, really.
Thanks, Rob. That's really interesting. And again, to Elizabeth, the same question. What's going to be your memory?
I had trouble thinking of a specific word too, because I do think that it was just also really eye-opening and did teach me about how tutorials could be, which was a little dangerous because now I expect them to be like that every time and they're usually not. But I thought it was wonderful to learn about how they could blossom and flourish, and how like putting all different types of people together will just produce the best ideas and discussions.
Amazing. Typical English students couldn't just pick one word, no. I'm only joking, I'm only joking. Thank you so much to our panel. I think as our report suggests, the only way to start off this event today was with our student panel. So please, a round of applause for our student panel. Oh. Niamh has very politely reminded me that I missed a question. Thanks, Niamh. So the last question was, would you recommend co-learning to other students in Trinity? Thanks, Niamh.
I would like to recommend it to other people because if they have a chance to do a co-learning module, it's good to learn about new authors and have new experience in life.
Thank you very much, Niamh. Same question to you, Al.
It gives people like a fantastic experience in college. It might not work out for you, it might work with you. It's just, you have to put yourself out there, and I just can't keep imagining people coming here and doing this course. It's just in my brain, constantly thinking, and it's just a fantastic experience and feel for me personally, since I had a good time in this co-learning module.
Thanks, Al. So I think, yeah, from the work you're doing now with student counselling service, it really sounds like being out there, being part of the community was a big thing for you.
It definitely was, because I felt since I'm part of that experience, community of people with disabilities, that they don't really have a voice, and I just felt that if no one's stepping up, someone had to. So I wanted to be that person for those people.
Excellent. Thank you, Al. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for all the advocacy that you do as well. And Rob, if you were asked from one of the first year English students, what would you say?
I think I definitely recommend taking part in it, just because ultimately everybody deserves access to education. There's no difference between anyone really, like as assuming that the the tutorials are kind of carried out in the right way, because I think it was definitely done in a very constructive way here, in the sense of like the bridging lectures beforehand, so that everyone has sort of, you know, fair knowledge of the texts going in, and even with the way Paul did it again, where giving us a specific passage to work with per week, so we all have read it in full, we all know what's going on. So it was just very healthy atmosphere, very good experience, so I don't really have anything negative to say about it.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks very much. And last but not least, Elizabeth.
I would also definitely recommend it. I mean, I think it was great to get rid of like categorizing people into different groups and just putting everybody all together. Because I think that that's, like I said before, that's how you get the best discussions, the best ideas heard, especially when we were focusing on certain passages together in like groups of 2 or 3. That was great too, because then you could talk about the passage and their ideas, but also get to know the person a little bit more. And that was also a great part of like learning about the material while also learning about the people you're learning about it with. So you can actually really connect to it. And yeah, like Rob said, I mean, it was the best tutorial I've been in my 1.5 year almost. So I'm hoping I have something like that again at some point soon.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And for the second time, I'll ask you to give a round of applause for our student panel. Thanks, guys.